보라 아들이다. 첫 번째 아들이니까 얼마나 자랑스럽게 생각하고 이름을 지었겠습니까? 그리고 요셉은 베냐민이 태어나기 전까지는 집안에서 짜이르, 즉 막내입니다. 시편 119편 141절은 내가 미천하여 멸시를 당하나
I'm small and despised, using the term youngest
짜이르
to mean
아노키 된
despise.
거거든요. 짜이르 내가
짜이르
미천하기 때문에
means
이제
small and despised.
짜이르이기 때문에 멸시를 당하게 되는 이유가 되기도 합니다.
That's the reason why he was despised.
그런데 야곱이 짜이르 요셉에게
Jacob
채색옷을 입혔다는 것은
favored Joseph the most among his sons.
그럼 대접하겠다는 뜻입니다.
That means he's gonna treat
백호에 대해서 민감한 사람입니다. 그의
Joseph like the first son.
과언이 아닙니다. 어머니의 리브가의 뱃속에서 열심히
When Rebecca was pregnant with him, she struggled with the twins inside, and Isaac asked,
짜이르를 섬기리라고 응답하셨습니다. 그런데 형이 먼저 나오자 동생이 형의 발꿈치를 잡고
when the brother comes first, when the first son born came out, the youngest grabbed his heel and followed. That's how he got the name Jacob, meaning he grasped the heel, which also means he deceived. He bought the first son birthright with a bowl and of red stew. Then he obtained the blessing due to the first son by deceiving his father. These 12 sons raised under such a father were born from different mothers. So who was the elder and who was the younger mattered a lot. Nevertheless, Jacob treated Joseph, the younger, like the elder by giving him a coat of many colors. When Jacob showed such favoritism to Joseph, his brother couldn't speak kindly to him and grew to hate him more. One day, Joseph had a dream. He told his brothers about it. We are binding sheep in the field, and behold, my sheep arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheep gathered around it and bowed down to my sheep. He dreamed again and said, Behold, I have dreamed another dream. Behold, the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars were bowing down to me. Because of this dream, his brother hated and envied him even more. Though Jacob rebuked him, he kept this word in his heart. Afterward, when his brothers went to Shechem to tend their father's flock, Joseph told Jacob, Go and see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock, and bring me word. And he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a young man found him and wandering in the fields. The man asked him, What are you seeking? I am seeking my brother, he said. Tell me, please, where they are pasturing the flocks. If Jacob had known his most beloved son was going to a place where he might die, he would never have sent him there, especially such a precious son with many servants in the household. Why send him alone so far away? If Joseph had known he would die and when he wouldn't have answered so readily, I will go. But this came from God. Joseph went on his way to Shechem, but his brothers were not there. So he wandered in the fields searching for them. Someone told him they had gone to Dothan. When Joseph approached them from afar, they plotted to kill him. The dreamer is coming. Come, let's kill him and throw him into one of these pits. Then we'll see what comes of his dream. It's intriguing how all the brothers were unanimous in wanting to kill Joseph. Yet Reuben, the oldest Bekru, was secretly planning to rescue him from their hands. He just suggested not harming Joseph and intending to later rescue him from their grasp and return him to their father. The brothers, meanwhile, sat eating as they saw a merchant approaching in the distance. Judah proposed, What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. Can you imagine how Joseph must have pleaded and wept as he was being sold? Yet the brothers sold him to the traders for 20 shekels of silver each, dividing the money into themselves. According to Leviticus 27, when someone consecrated themselves to the Lord, the priest determined their value. A male aged 5 to 20 was valued as 20 shekels of silver. Joseph, being 17 at the time, was only worth 20 shekels of silver, but still he was sold for that price. So Joseph, despite being hated by his brothers, didn't die, but instead was sold into Egypt. And God, for 17 years, refined Joseph like gold through the bonds of slavery, shaping him beautifully within his brother's multicolored coat. Psalm 105 describes Joseph's suffering. He sent a man before them, Joseph, sold as slave. They bruised his feet with shackles. His neck was put in irons, till what he foretold came to pass, till the word of the Lord proved him true. The king sent and released him. The ruler of people set him free. He made him master of his household, ruled over all he possessed, to instruct his princes as he pleased, and teach his elder wisdom. Though
그의 모든 소유를 관리하게 하고 그의 뜻대로 모든 신하를 다스리며 또 장로들을 교훈하게 하였도다.
Though Joseph endured rejection from his brothers and as a slave, descending from a son to a servant, from a servant to sinner, through years of suffering in prison, that time refined him, making God's word clearer to him. It made him realize God's plan to save both his family and all the people through him. Finally,
양식이 끊어진 야곱은 애굽에 곡식이 있다는 말을 듣고 베냐민만 빼고 요셉의 형들을 다 곡식을 사러 보냈습니다. 그리하여 형들은 처음 요셉을 대면하게 됩니다. 요셉은 형들에 대한 미움과 죄를 알고 있지 않습니다. 하나님의 말씀이 성취되고 있는 것을 보고 있었기 때문입니다. 그래서 자기의 형제들과 친족들을 여전히 하게 사랑하고 기억하고 있었던 것입니다. 이것을 향한 하나님의 뜻을 바로 이해한 사람의 태도가 아니겠습니까? 반면에 요셉의 형들은 어떠합니까?
In contrast, what about Joseph's brother? The scales fell from their eyes, but the righteousness and blessings departed from them, leaving only the heavenly burden of selling their brother for money. Judah's life exemplifies how those burdened by the heavy sin of selling their brother suffered. He was the one who suggested selling Joseph as a slave. While Reuben was the eldest, he seemed to have lost leadership in both his father's eyes and among his brothers. Instead, it was Judah, Jacob's first son, who seems to hold leadership. After selling Joseph, Judah mingled with the Canaanites, took a Canaanite woman as a wife, and bore 3 sons. He even got another wife for his first son. However, since his firstborn was wicked, the Lord put him to death. The second son also died because he didn't want to fulfill his duty to his brother's widow. Judah feared his third son's wife, so he sent Tamar, his daughter-in-law, back to her father's house. Later, he lost his wives as well.
유다는 요셉을 판 후에 아버지와 형제들을 떠나서
So, when severe famine struck the world, hearing there was a grain in Egypt, Jacob sent his son except Benjamin to buy food. And so the brothers faced Joseph again. Throughout, Joseph harbored no hatred or desire for revenge against his brothers because he understood God's will. He witnessed the fulfillment of God's word and still cherished it and remembered his family and kin. Isn't this the attitude of someone who truly comprehends God's will? So let me go for his own son as collateral for Benjamin's safety. But Jacob still refused.